We need some avionics probably, but I'm going to do this thing. I don't know if you've heard of this, Sasha, but there's this thing called the BetterPushBack Plugin. I don't know if you've heard about it.
Really?
Yeah.
Who made that?
This gentleman made it. It's an amazing. So what I'm going to... Oh, it's giving me the... I don't have... What is the latest version, by the way?
44.
44. Okay. I think I have 44. That is pretty cool. So I'm going to... I want the caravan to come back. Let's zoom in.
Feel free to just click and drag,
Oh, click and drag what?
the view.
Oh, yeah. There we go.
Just move
boom,
around.
boom, boom, boom.
You can just move around it like an iPad.
So, again, I've said it many times, but those of you who have joined since the last introduction, this is Toto Ritko. He is the developer of the BetterPushBack plugin that I'm using right here. And, well, he's here to talk to us about all kinds of things today. And had a good discussion on the PT6. I'm going to go ahead and enter that. And then I'm just going to hit... well, you can talk about the few other things. Is there anything else besides left clicking and enter that I should do while in this view?
Oh, any of the blue buttons that you got on the side there, you can actually click those. So
you can delete segments.
Yeah, you can delete segments. You can actually just call the tug so it attaches to the aircraft and it doesn't start moving. If that was a feature somebody requested when they were expecting pushback instructions from ATC, but they didn't want to have ATC wait on them to have the tug come, so they just call the tug and then phone up ATC, like, we're ready to go. Which way?
So I'm going to do that. I'm going to hit escape. Does escape get rid of my plan?
Escape does cancel. Yeah, it deletes the plan.
And does it? I hit it twice. Did it? With one escape, did it take me out of the pushback start planning?
No. So if you wanna just call the tug without a plan, just hit connect first in the planner.
Okay. So when I go over there with the mouse, as long as I'm over it, even though it's putting my plane over it, I can just.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. It'll highlight the button and just
connect
click that
first.
Ground to cockpit. Tow is driving up.
So it'll make the tow come up, connect up to the airplane, and then it'll just sit there and wait.
Okay. Mike has a good question. What's the easiest way to see what version we have? Is it in the directory?
So I think version 43 or 44, I introduced it, and it's visible in the preferences window in the top title.
Oh, perfect.
And Apache X2 is asking, it says 43 on the webpage. No, I'll just check the webpage. The latest one is 44.
He should know. Yeah.
I remember because I published it. And by the way, look at the hot start video. I whispered to you if you wanted to. If you want to, of course.
Yeah, for sure. All right, so he's attaching. That's so cool.
Okay, all doors and hatches are closed. Ready to connect.
Okay, so he says ready to connect. He's coming in. That's awesome.
You should actually grab your prop and rotate it so that the two blades are apart from each other.
Oh, wow.
If I didn't make a mistake.
Winching strap and adapter in position. Release parking brake when ready to start pushback.
Maybe it did. It's a bug. Okay, I need to correct that.
There you go. Okay, parking brake released.
I'll winch you up.
It's okay, I need a new prop anyway. Boom, that's so cool. I need to disconnect from here to get a proper view. Ooh. I need to go slower with these camera views. Dang it. Goldsy downloaded 0.44 last night. Yep. Oh, landing lights are on? No, landing lights are off. Are they off? Yeah, they're off.
No, yeah. When you have the landing lights on, I programmed it in such a way such that when you call the tug, it'll automatically turn them off, so it won't yell at you all the time.
There you go. So now it's attached. I don't have any plan. It's just sitting there.
Yep.
And this is the exact scenario where I don't want to wait for you to attach before I call ground for a reposition.
For instance, when your pushback direction depends on your assigned runway, and ATC assigns a runway during pushback, they'll tell you tail left, tail right,
down,
nose south, north west, or whatever. At that point, you just go to better pushback start. It'll bring up the planner again, ask you to specify direction, and Once you click and hit enter and confirm the plan, that's it. You're good to go, and he'll start immediately. Or if you got the parking brake on, he'll ask you to unset the brake, and once you do that, you're good. So it's pretty much done in 5 seconds.
All right, let's go. Okay, hold on. I don't have a plan, but it's saying start.
Yeah, sure. You can even without a plan, you can hit start, and then if there's no plan specified, it'll prompt you.
All right. Oh, there's a tug cab view.
Yeah, I've put that in. Feel free to click it.
We did. We got preferences. There's the version number. Now, you still need a voice or two from the John Fly.
Yeah.
Should I record in a particular format or length or?
Oh, I'll send you the details. I need a specific set of messages.
Okay.
And you can reposition the tug view, by the way, using your normal buttons. The only thing that you got to use for reorientation is the left mouse button, because the SDK does not give me access to the right mouse button. Explain just hogs that one all for itself.
Okay. All right, so this one, I can't close it.
I'm sorry.
So the X is not closing it on the preferences.
Really?
No.
Huh, strange.
Maybe I have to go back to the menu.
Yeah, just get back to the normal view. There's probably, yeah, I got to correct that.
Okay.
Just go back to a normal view.
Ground cockpit, please show me where you want to go.
Nope, it's like stuck
No,
there.
just hit any view.
Hit like a cockpit view.
Like cockpit view or something.
Oh, it's not letting me out of there. That's funny. I'm trying to go into different views and it's not letting me. Let's
really?
Close Pushback Planner.
There
we go. In the cockpit view, I can close it. Yep.
Yeah, I need to work a little bit on this. Probably a little bit too confusing.
Where's it taking me? I didn't do a plan, or maybe it took my last plan.
When you were clicking, it actually started to push you around.
All right,
so feel free to hit go to the menu, stop it.
Yeah, and then we're gonna do. Yeah.
You're gonna tell them to reattach and reconnect, and you can replan another one.
All right.
That's another feature that actually is. I think version 44
stand by.
even has the ability. Or maybe I didn't publish it yet. No, I think version 44 already has a feature where it allows you to not even prompt for the disconnection thing. That's what you requested.
Oh yeah. That's what to not have the buttons up here, just because I'm always going to disconnect. Well, I guess I won't always disconnect, but if I hit reconnect now, that's good in this case because.
Please show me where you want to go.
He asks you for a new plan.
Yeah.
The purpose for
to go right here.
The purpose of this was basically in the real world, the tug driver waits for your OK signal, because as soon as he's gone, he's gone. You know, if you got a problem with the airplane and you got to tow back into the ramp, you're gonna have a hard time getting a hold of him because he's gone.
Yeah.
And at that point, you're basically like a big dead whale, sitting at the on a taxiway, for example.
All right.
So yeah, once you got the plan entered, feel free to release the brakes, and he'll go. Hopefully.
Starting tow.
Yep. All right. Do you guys have any questions? Any questions at all? Life, aviation, or otherwise?
Or women.
Women. Ladies.
And so yeah, right now, if you go into the tag view, you'll be able to watch the procedure from his point of view. What's the source code for? Cage was asking. That's something that GitHub automatically generates for a release. You don't have to click it. You don't have to use it. Basically, the rationale there is, if you don't know what it's for, it's not for you.
When will BPB add X-Plane 9 support and allow pushback on Mars?
Yeah.
0.5.
Operation complete.
It
Start
only
parking brake.
cost you 7 million Johnfly miles in order for that to be implemented.
Well, I guess it could run on X-Plane 9 with some limitations, but honestly, I don't have X-Plane 9, so... And considering that X-Plane 11 is already out for half a year.
It's
for
funny.
over half a year.
It's funny that when I went to X-Plane 11, the very, very first public beta, I did not launch 10 again. On purpose, anyway. I accidentally launched it once, but I flew it. I took all of the bugs, and I've been flying it ever since. I just dealt with the bugs, but yeah, it was a good time.
Yeah, I was on the beta, I think, from beta 3 or 4. I just waited for sort of the biggest pieces to be sort of knocked out, and then from there on out, I've been pretty much X-Plane 11 as well, also, just purely. And I'm thinking about one of the animations I'm thinking about, like whether I should do or not, is when the tug's lifting up the airplane. Initially, actually, the tug hunkers down because it's being loaded by the airplane's weight. I was thinking, like, should I implement this or not? Nah, it seems difficult. I don't want to care with that.
Mike H is about to delete 10. Don't blame you.
I was thinking about doing that several times over, and the only reason why I keep it is because I want to test compatibility with my plugins.
Oh, in your position, yeah, because there's a lot of people that want to stay on 10. They've got it tweaked. They've got it. It works for them.
Yeah.
So.
Well, I think Laminar publishes one of these user surveys, and in there you should be able to see how many people are running 10 and how many are running 11.
I would guess that 11 is still under 0.25%.
Really?
I would guess just because there are some people that only fly, 2-3 times a year, and they don't even know 11's out, and they're not online.
Bonesaw says he had quit flight simming for several years until he saw X-Plane 11, made him want to fly again. I'm with you.
Yeah. Well, the ortho is what converted me. I tried the X-Plane demo like briefly a few years back, but it's like I couldn't even figure out how to assign my joystick. It was so convoluted with going deep to set this, and I was, P3D was happy with it, but then I saw Josh J. Gibbs streaming, and I'm like, look at that ortho photo, and this is back in the way back in the G2 XPL days. But I said to him, how can I get that, because I want that ortho photo. And he goes, and he didn't know me from Adam, and he said, he'll help me. And that's between him and Marcus MMC, who's a Pallet Edge controller. He showed me X-Plane in person. Then yeah, like I said, I forever XP. Laminar religion.
Yeah, I'm kind of in the same boat, I guess. I'm not running ortho because I just don't have that much hard drive space locally, and plus my GPU is kind of crap.
Well, see, and that's why you need to put a link up there for the donations. You need to, and so it can fund your environment, which will help you. It will not only help your enjoyment of the sim, but you'll also be in a better environment to develop even more.
Yeah, I suppose that's one way to look at it. Yeah, sure.
Is computer hardware pricey in Slovakia?
It's about the same. If you just translate the numbers, it's about the same.
Okay.
Thing is, of course, we have a 20% tax level, so that's an extra price. But if you take off the tax, it comes out to the same value as in the U.S. And as far as I understand, in the U.S., prices are given without tax. So
yes.
So any local taxes or duties or whatever you got to pay depends on your state.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah, Amazon used to be no tax for us in the state of Utah, and we were personally responsible for claiming purchases on Amazon on our tax returns. But just last year, they struck a deal Amazon and the state of Utah struck a deal where they agreed to start charging sales tax and collecting it, and there was a lot of people that were very upset, and a lot of people that said that they were not going to purchase on Amazon anymore. And yeah, the truth is that it's the Walmart online, and everyone still purchases there, and the state of Utah's got a ton of new revenue coming in.
Well, ultimately, it was obvious that once it got too popular, it was going to fizzle out. It's got to have, once it gets into the view of the tax man, once it's sufficiently high in volume, they'll figure out a deal.
Yeah.
It's better than making it completely flat out illegal, right?
All right. Well, give us kind of a roadmap. So, what do you see coming into the next few versions? That I know you talked about a few that are coming, but anything else you want to announce on the plugin?
So on the plugin, one of the big things. Well, there's a couple of big things that I'm working on. Basically, I'm trying to finalize the other tugs. So right now, there's 3 tugs in it. It has the one that the one that's actually right now attached to your aircraft. That's the AP88. It's an electric tug. I want to finish up the modeling on that one, and then there's the one in the middle called the AST3F, the Goldhofer, and then there's a big one called the AST1X. It's the one that you get when you're flying like a 747.
Okay.
And that one can actually handle all the way up to an A380. So that pretty much covers most of the range. But the thing is, the only tug that I was sort of confident was done in terms of being modeled mostly completely was the middle one, because that's the one I started with. Though the AP88 and the AST1 were just sort of done on the side as a quick solution for anybody who's flying very little aircraft or very big aircraft. So once I get those completed, I'm going to have my livery guy go out and make the liveries for them. And that's one of the things that most people don't realize about BetterPushback, or they don't frequently notice it, that is that it actually changes tug livery based on the airport and the aircraft you're flying. So for the AST3F, there are, let me check, there's like either 9 or 10 liveries at this point. And I have a very dedicated guy over in Germany who goes over all the sort of big ground services providers in the world, and he figures out exactly which airports they handle. He gives me a list, and I just put that into the plugin, into the livery. So it understands, for instance, that Swissport operates in it's one of the biggest ground service operators, and operates in like 100 airports all over the world. And then there's a bunch of others. There's, for instance, in Frankfurt in Germany, you're going to get the LEOS, the Lufthansa ground services provider, and we have also support for airline liveries right now. So if you're in Japan, or if you're in Japan and you're flying an ANA or a Japan Airlines livery, you're going to get the appropriate tug for your airline.
Wow. Because
they have their own ground services providers.
Okay.
The same goes for Britain and British Airways.
I think I've just got the Goldhof when I'm pushing back in Salt Lake or in California.
Yeah, we don't. For California, you might have already gotten Swissport or DNATA. DNATA is kind of obvious because it's completely blue, but that one does not serve Los Angeles, and they do serve San Francisco, by the way.
That's pretty detailed that you're going to that level of researching who's works where, and
yeah,
I like that you have a team that's helping you out with the small details that just give us a little more immersion.
That's why I made it an open source project. I wanted to have that.
Apparently, Cessna Rocks here says, working on the U.S.-based tug liveries.
Yes, thank you very much. And so what I want to finish is basically once the AP88 and the AST1X modeling is completed, and I'm sort of I'm happy with where the tugs are in terms of final layout, I'm going to hand it over to my livery guys, and they're going to make local livery variations that are available for the middle one. They're also going to make for the big one and the small one. Then there's another feature that's up on the horizon. Tim Rodeo says in Geneva they have Swissport and Dunedin, and that's exactly what you're going to get. Both of those are available at in Better Pushback in Geneva. And so once those are done, I want to model a fourth tug, which will be a tow bar tug. And I want to finalize the tow bar pushing logic. So if your airplane, or for whatever reason you want to have it pushed back by a tow bar rather than a tow bar-less tug, then they'll do that. So the tow bar pushing logic is going to go in, and that's really hard to code because it's like it goes through two elbows on the pushback, and it's really hard to make it look reasonably well.
Mm-hmm.
And after that, the last feature, sort of big feature that I want to finalize finally, is a feature that might make sense for guys like GPB 500 and some other senior developers. I have some early code that extracts pushback routes directly from the scenery from your WED file, and it'll allow you to ship your scenery with pre-programmed routes for better pushback, and also make the tug approach the aircraft in a plausible manner, so it won't drive through buildings and sort of all sorts of obstacles anymore. It will sort of follow a more sensible approach path to the aircraft. So yeah, and there was one feature that's sort of on the hold right now. It's a crazy idea that they're experimenting with in Germany for the real world. It's called TaxiBot. The Germans have designed essentially a modification of the big tugs where they are having the airplane not just be pushed back from the gate, but also taxi over under the tug's power to the runway for departure.
Whoa. That'd save a lot of fuel.
That'll save for every flight that'll save easily pounds of fuel. And the point is, due to regulation requirements, the tug has to be under the pilot's control, the captain's control, essentially. And so the tug driver may not control the tug. So instead what they do is they have a special rig mounted into the tug's cradle, which rotates with the airplane's nose wheel, and it senses as the captain rotates the nose wheel and the tug itself will rotate with the nose wheel. Jeez. So that way the cockpit is in control of the direction, and at the same time, once you release the brakes, the tug automatically will start accelerating up to 20 miles per hour. And if you want to slow down, all you got to do is apply a little bit of braking on the aircraft, and the tug senses that pressure, and it'll start slowing down. So at that point, it's pretty much an automated. It's sort of like an automatic pushback engine, and requires no modifications to the airplane, which is also another thing that was kind of important to the design of that logic.
Call me through the menu when you are ready.
I didn't even know about that.
It's kind of an experimental thing at this point, but it might be something interesting to add once I run out of features to add to pushback. FSE Tony B.
I've never loaded a 747 into my sim before.
Really?
And I'm just loading it in here just to demonstrate the... What's this one called? This one's called
That's the Goldhofer AST-1X.
AST-1X.
That's the biggest one they sell.
Okay.
They do actually have... They have made a bigger one, which is actually the biggest tug ever made in the world, which is the six-wheeler. It looks sort of like the 1X. But it has two additional wheels in the back. It's huge, and they've only made like 3 of them. And it has 13.
Okay, all doors and hatches are closed. Ready to connect.
We gotta subscribe. Andy Black with the subscribe. We gotta subscribe. Welcome to the Snack Shack. Thank you for letting me rock the Invisisticks.
And yeah, so on this Win Big tug, you'll see that actually the cab raises up when it's backing up. And your view goes
gotta
with it.
subscribe.
And it uses a different kind of attaching logic a little bit. And it has 4-wheel steering.
Jeez, it's amazing.
Tow connected and bypass pin inserted. Release parking brake.
And by the way, the drive mechanisms on these tugs is kind of funny in that there's no direct connection between the engine and the wheels. It's all hydraulic. So the engine is just attached to a big old hydraulic pump, and the tug has lines going all over the whole thing, and it drives hydraulic drive motors, one at each wheel, hydraulic steering, and the whole lift mechanism is hydraulic as well. So that's how the thing can actually go pretty slow, and it'll be able to push like a 700-ton aircraft if you wanted to.
Amazing. I want to thank everyone that allowed us to do the group donation.
Much appreciated.
There was a lot of people that pitched in, and I know you were hesitant to take stuff, but we just wanted to say thank you.
I appreciate the enthusiasm about it. I try to tug view from the cab, looking back at the aircraft nose wheel. You'll see what the thing looks like from the driver's point of view when he's attaching.
It looks like it's looking out.
You can turn it around.
Oh. That is a screenshot if I've ever seen one. Whoa. Turbinator, how you doing, man? This is Baltimore, BWI. Wow.
You can, by the way, you can move the view around with your normal view movement keys. So if you're using period and comma and stuff like that, and your arrow keys will work as well. Also looks pretty good when it's at night.
Oh yeah, I don't do much flying at night. I should do more.
So yeah, that one tug actually can lift up maybe, I think the nose wheel weight rating on maximum on the AST-1 is 50 tons. So that's about how much it can lift. And if you look at it in the real world, when it's picking up the airplane, you can see that during the initial 5 seconds of the lift, the aircraft does not move at all. It's just the tug is hunkering down as the weight of the nose wheel is being loaded onto it.
It's amazing at how already this is so compatible with so many different aircraft. Go ahead.
My hope was to be compatible with everything, ultimately. That's what I wanted to have it be.
There was a question earlier that I avoided for a moment, but they said, please don't judge, but any possible P3D development. Yeah, that's a fair question.
No, it's fine. I mean, I don't hate on people who use P3D or anything.
No, me either.
Feel free to use whatever suits your needs. The thing is, I'm so familiar with X-Plane that I'm not really sure that there'd be much code that would actually transfer over to P3D in this respect. There might be some of it.
Start over from scratch type of project.
It would be pretty close to that. Yeah. For instance, the way that the tug lifting actually works is kind of a trick in X-Plane. What I do is I manipulate the physical model of the airplane dynamically, and I just extend the length of the nose gear leg. And so X-Plane thinks that the nose wheel is still sitting on the ground, even though the model does not reach quite down to the ground level. So it looks like it's got the nose wheel lifted up, but it does not uncompress the strut. So it still looks like the airplane is loaded up on the nose wheel. That's why it looks so real. It's not just twisting the airplane around the main landing gear. What it does is actually it fakes the lift by making the nose wheel sort of longer, virtually, from the flight model point of view. And Peter Hoover, I'm happy to oblige for any information I can share.
Yeah. Thank you for joining me today. I know that we're coming up on 3 hours. I'll probably let you go, and we'll have to schedule, hopefully in the next month or 2 or 3, the an A320 joint stream.
Yep. Well, let's hope so.
That'd be fun.
FSC Tony has one comment. Yeah, the reason why the tire rotates is while it's being towed. Yeah, that's partially why, because X-Point thinks that the tire is in contact with the ground. But I tried talking to Ben from Laminar about giving me a method of stopping the tire rotation, and he says that it's basically hard-coded into the sim. So as soon as it thinks that the tire is in contact with the ground, it'll just spin it around. There's nothing you can do about it. What's the model of these? Interesting. No.
Operation complete. Set parking brake.
Can you? That's kind of strange. Can you move back a little bit with the view? I thought that there was a bad hold line there on this airport.
Yeah,
no,
there's 2 hold short lines, but one is probably for.
It's back to front. Yeah, the further one, the one that is further from the runway, is back to front.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
The solid line should be on the ramp side.
Yeah.
Because this way, what this would do is would basically give you permission to cross it from the torrent side, from the dashed part. But it's an ILS hold line, so you shouldn't cross that unless you're given permission. And also, it's the wrong kind of hold line.
I think in the U.S. you can actually go past it unless they specifically say hold at the ILS critical area. Yeah.
Yes.
So it's disconnected and bypass bin has been removed.
Unless they tell you that you got to hold at the ILS critical area, you find go up to the last hold point, which is, by the way, there are 2. The hold line that you're looking at right by the runway is called the Type A hold. And further away from the runway, you should have those latter type, which are called the Type B hold line, I think. And so you shouldn't have twice the same kind of hold line type, right, one after the other, because that would confuse people.
So who's the guy giving me the hand signals? Who is that?
I don't know.
Oh, it's just a random dude.
It's just a random dude.
He kind of looks like that. Who's that famous ballerina Russian dude? Ballet star?
Could be. No. I don't know. It's just a random dude. You
guys know who I'm thinking of, right? Is it Baryshnikov? Mikhail Baryshnikov? I think that's who he looks like. No, we're not going to fly this plane, Tony. I don't even.
Interesting detail, for instance, when you get the ANA or the JAL tug livery, I did actually put a Japanese guy in there, so the guy will have a Japanese face.
Oh, on the toe.
Yeah.
Nice.
It'll be driven by a Japanese guy, obviously, because in Japan it's a Japanese airline, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Add a Goldsy face. Yeah, a Goldsy face would be good. But somehow I want my voice in this plugin. Some backdoor. What needs the John Fly voice?
Yeah, it's not difficult to actually do. It's pretty simple. The voice logic was actually, I think that's kind of one of the more neat features. I don't know if you haven't tried it out with, obviously, since you're a native English speaker, you haven't heard the other languages, but it will actually, depending on what your native X-Plane language is, or you can actually switch the plugin manually, so that if you, for example, you're French, the French will get a French-speaking driver when they're in France, or a French-speaking territory.
Any plans for a website? What to showcase, some of the screenshots, etc. And a big donation button so we can get your ortho hard drive and a whole new computer.
So the GitHub page, I gotta actually just write up a special README file that'll overlay on the GitHub page, so it'll show a sort of a nicer introduction.
Okay.
And so it's not difficult to put a donate button on there. And in terms of getting an actual web page up and running, I don't know, I guess at some point, but right now it's kind of low priority.
Yeah, no, I was just curious because I'm just trying to get donation exposure.
Thank you. It's very much appreciated.
All right. Well, anyone have any other questions for Sasha before we let him go? We'll wait a few more minutes. And if anyone has any questions about the PT6, the Better Pushback plugin, girls, beer, whatever.
How to do bad landings? I'm an expert at that.
Yeah, I'm so the Jets. It's either really good or really bad. Nothing in between for me. The GA I'm okay with most of the time, but
yeah, it's usually that way for me as well. I always remember whenever I watch a stream and I see somebody land against iffy way, I always get flashbacks from my instructor going, "Yeah, it's bad. This was bad. That was bad. That was wrong. That was good." So sort of whenever I watch, for instance, Black Box 711, that guy, he's an airline pilot, but he occasionally he does fly GA. I always think when he lands, he always does a 3-pointer on the Cessna, and I always remember back to my instructor saying, "Good landing, Sasha, good landing," but it was a little flat. And it's always a little flat. No matter how much I pull, it's always a little flat.
You were saying something about the Airbus. It's an additional 3 to 5 degrees on the flare. Is that what you were saying the other day?
Right. Yeah. So I noticed that when I land a Airbus, so on a Boeing, you usually flare between 3 and 5 degrees, nose up, and it'll be fine. You'll get like landing rate around 100 to 200 feet per minute. On an Airbus, I noticed that you got to flare a lot more, usually up to 7 to 8 degrees almost, in order to get that landing rate down. Otherwise, you'll just bang it up on the surface pretty hard, and it'll survive it. But
Delta Who says, any plans to do advanced ground handling? What does he mean by that?
I don't know. Is he asking for catering
or even
trucks?
Better ground handling? Maybe he's being facetious. B2 need a girls donation button, or is that the beer? Thanks. Chucklehead says thanks for the John Fly and Toto. Very cool. 10 out of 10 says Apache X. Better Pushback should be best add-on of the year, says Tony B. I agree with that. Tyler B wants to know what a PT6 is. Go back and watch this VOD, Tyler. We went through a very detailed discussion on the PT6. Yeah. Engine in the Caravan. Yep.
Yeah, it's
all right.
one of the
well,
most numerous ones.
Thank you for being here. I will probably be. You know what? I'll probably be in touch a little sooner than you anticipate regarding some SciTech panel stuff.
Sure, and we'll get that voice organized so that you'll be ready to rock and roll in
There you go.
preferably next build or maybe the one afterwards.
Anything that I can do for you? Is there anything that I or anyone of the Global Sim Alliance can do for you?
Just keep putting out great streams, and I'll keep watching them. That's the best thing.
There you go. Perfect. Thank you, Sasha. Thank you guys for being here. We'll do a flight. Appreciate it.
Thanks, guys, for being here.
Well, that